Alrighty. Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is Thursday before the TGIF tomorrow. We're looking forward to that. It's a 3-day weekend. We'll be like pretending that we're from Latvia and saying that we had 5 days off too. Notice how jealous I am? I guess I could take 5 days off anytime I want, but still, I would be crazy. I'd be like Tigger, bouncing all over the place. All right, this is another fun-filled day, so let's check it out. There's the New Zealand against the dollar. Let's see what the Swiss looks like right there. Looking a little flattish today. Some green dots. We've got it over here on J4X. You can see same situation. It's flattish. We got the white line turning down here, whereas obviously on Chicago Quant, we're just way, way, way up there. And nothing even remotely starting to make that break. So be careful on this one, traders. Let's just stand to the side a little bit more. What else can we say about the dollar? I mean, that's what I've never, in the last 4 or 5 days, I've used King Dollar as a label for my title. I never look at the dollar like the king. But right now it's becoming so obnoxious, like what kings and queens do is they become obnoxious. You know, the thing is just overwhelmingly putting itself in our face every day. It just seems to not be willing to back off. And you just got to wonder, you know, how long can that go on for? And obviously, due to the fact that I think that the central banks are just sucking up everything and anything. I mean, when you really think about it, 15, 16, 17 trillion in by the central banks owning debt that they get paid interest for, not they're paying interest to. Can you imagine? You borrow money, right? And now you're told at the same time you have to, it sounds like the mob. You have to pay interest too at the same time. It's like, no, wait a minute. You borrowed my money. You're supposed to pay me interest. So, yeah, it's ugly. Cheerio, Doc. Yeah, I like that. Cheerio to you. Ta, as we would say back in school. Ta. And Alan, how about you? Hey. Good morning to you. Or a good afternoon. Or even a good evening. If it's a good evening, you might be drinking an adult beverage while you're watching this. You might need an adult beverage. Got to watch out for the ice in the drink, though. You never know. That can give you the headache the next morning. Let's see. Where else do we go from here? So, there it is. That's the way we're seeing the dollar at the moment. It just seems to want to keep on going up. You can see the Swiss has been in a weekly buy for 2 full weeks. Doesn't look like it's going to change any course right now. Even the, where's that at? Let's go look at that right there like that. You can see this thing is even now pressing. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. You know, it's pressing up and just pushing and not giving up whatsoever there. 10:35 p.m. Yes! So you're done work and you're having an adult beverage at this point and listening to Doc pontificate about the earth according to him. The world financial markets according to Doc. If I had the camera on, you see my hands go up in the air like as if I was waving, like rubbing a cloud, you know, like the world according to Doc. All right, so yeah, or more like the world according to Doc's math. That's what it really comes down to. And speaking of which, we've got the Higgs boson. We got the string theories 2020-21. Only just 1 day left. Well, actually 2 days left, today and tomorrow. We got Witten speaking at the very end. That's going to be very funny because every time he speaks now, he talks very authoritative, the man that created M theory. And then at the very end he says, in some way or another, he basically says, am I just a figment of my own imagination? That's what he says. He doesn't say it that way. He says, and maybe it doesn't work. Let's see. How can I can imitate Edward. I say, and it could not even work. That's what he usually says somewhere right at the very end, after an hour of heavy math. Yes, indeed. Okay, so let's see, where we go? Let's jump over to the euro. Let's slip out of Doc's psychosis here. You can see the euro is trying to pop up a little bit too. We got a red dot there. You know, not a lot of action. You can see the curve in the daily. The weekly seems to want to go more down than up at the moment. And let's see what it looks like on J4X. Let's see, euro, right there. There it is. And there it is, right there. You can see, here to buy. Let's see. You can see it's trying to turn up. Matter of fact, it's broken through the line even here. The Hinky Ashki is really jumping. Again, we're not there yet. We're on a red still, and so I'm not too convinced this is much buying. There's not that much buying as I can see it. Tomorrow, NFP, yeah, non-farm payrolls. Actually, we just saw numbers come out just now, didn't we? There's the weekly one and then the monthly one. So, yeah, that could be interesting. What are they doing to the stocks? Let's see what they're doing to the stocks. What are they doing to the stocks as we speak? They're taking the stocks up a little bit. NASDAQ is flat to up about, or down about 4 points, and the S&P 500's up 6 points. So the Dow must be up like 70, 80 points. Let's see. Let's check that out. There is you can see NASDAQ just down by a little. You can see it's trying to turn down here. Let's see if we can do this. So the news, whatever came out, put a little pressure on that. But we're in a weekly buy. It keeps on flirting. Last week and the week before, it actually tried to go into weekly sells and rolled up, I guess you could say. Then here's the Dow. The Dow actually went into a daily buy there yesterday. See that right there? So now it's in a weekly sell now since here. Doesn't look like it's, maybe it's starting to. Look at that. The green line is starting to penetrate the minus side of the time manifold. So maybe they're going to turn this market up one more time. And then there's the S&P. The S&P is curving. That closed in a weekly buy last week. And so, it's they just keep on finding ways to buy this product. Doc, you look like Charles Bronson with shorter Einstein hair. I'm built pretty well, actually. Still, I guess that's that Eastern. He was like Czech, I think, and Polish. He was like a combination. He was Eastern European, and they migrated to Pittsburgh to the steel industry and he was from a big family too. I think they had like 9 or 10 kids. Charles Bronson said the reason why he was so tough is that they had to wear hand-me-downs, in clothing because they were that poor, and he said that the next kid over him was his sister. So he was getting a lot of his sister's clothes, so he was pretty tough. But that's a compliment. I always thought Charles Bronson looked pretty handsome. I swim, and yesterday I was working on my plants for 2 hours. I work on them every day for 2 hours, and I was in 101 temperature Fahrenheit. So what is that in Celsius? What is that? Celsius. It's like 40 degrees, maybe? Is that right? Maybe 45 degrees Celsius? Let's see, 70... Let's see, so 32 minus 101 is 69. So it's like 36, 37 degrees Celsius. I was out there working for 2 hours. But that's a compliment. Good old Charles Bronson, Someone asked me about, I have a picture of me without a top on. And you can still see my six-pack in the mornings. So that's a pretty good thing at 66, Because Doc is 66 years old. And that was the Einstein picture. You're probably looking at the crazy Einstein picture, right, on Facebook. So I did that on purpose because my hair was long. Throughout the years, I always had that Einstein look, I throw that one up there. Yeah, this one right here. This is the picture he's talking about. Right there. That's a goodie. Yeah, that's a goodie, all right. And then I'm not going to show you the picture with my shirt off. Too modest. But I swim, and I can swim a mile a day, which is not a lot for a swimmer, trust me. A real swimmer swims 5 or 6 miles a day. I swim a mile or two, something like that. And then there's Albert. Like I said yesterday or a couple days ago, what do you think he was saying to his cousin? That's his cousin, his second cousin that he lived with all his life. I wonder what he was saying to her. And I would say he was in his late 60s at that point, mid 60s, early 60s, maybe it was early 60s, and she was in her like 30s. So they had a very nice relationship. And then at the same time, he was married to her mother, which is his first cousin. So, yeah, there's an interesting question mark there. That's why I say that his paper was called "The Moving Bodies on an Electromagnetic Field," but somehow or another, at the institute, they renamed it "Relative." And I always think that they're just playing with the word that he moved in with his relatives. But anyway, that's the way that goes. All right, where do we go from here? So you can see the strength is in the markets here, in the stock markets. Let's jump back to the currencies. Where is it? Oh, let's move this down. That's what it is. There we go. And let's take a look at the British pound and see what they're doing with that today. British pound's still rolling over and hanging on that low range that we talked about, the 138-ish area. So let's see. Everyone's still calm. Employment insurance expires next month, September. So it's like 2+ months from now, basically. And all the red states, all the states that are controlled by the Republicans, they've already cut out the extra money. So people are starting to go back to work. Would like to see you indeed. Well, yeah, there you go. I just showed you the picture of me with the pipe right there. I did that on purpose, even with the junk T-shirt, sweatshirt, doing that Einstein look, you know. And I do like to chew on a pipe, and so that's that. Let's see. I think there might be one in here somewhere that I could show. Anyway, we'll have to do that another time. But I always find that funny. Let's see, what else do we got going on here? Go to the Turkish lira, I guess. You know, they went into the sell there yesterday, and you can see it's still drifting, but the weekly has not pierced. You see here, the dollar Turkish lira has not pierced the top of the time manifold right there. Now let's check it out on the, let's see. Right there, let's show you the euro against the Turkish lira. And let's see. See there, it's trying to bounce up already. And it is making a threat to the weekly here. That's the interesting thing. And we find that the euro Turkish lira is much more indicative of where markets are going. You know, it seems to be a much more insightful direction there. George says crude oil is on a tear this morning. I know, we're in a weekly buy in that, and we were in a daily sell for 2 days. Right there. You can see we're spiking it today. So you can't be short, you know, because we're in a weekly buy. We've been in a weekly buy since 68, 67, 67 and a half. So we've been in a weekly buy since back in here. Matter of fact, it was in the mid 60s at that point, like 65 3/4, 66, and each buy has been a good one. There's one there. That one was all right. That was a winner too, and that one was a winner too. There was 3 in a row there, and then where's that at? That's over here. Then this was the first loss. So there's a typical. More than likely, this is going to be a nice win. You know, in other words, it'll probably find its way. Where could it go? Let's see. Where is the next range? And I think we need to go on the J4X for that. Let's go check out J4X. I would say right there, light sweet Texas crude. Let's put a weekly up there. We've been showing you a 4-hour chart. That's what it is with the J4X. Okay, so there's a weekly. Let's see, last time we were in this territory, it stalled out in the, what is that, the 70, it's 71-ish. Aha! What's that low there? See, that's one way of looking at it. Let's go like this, move that over, and widen it. I would say it's pierced the low, right? So you got to figure these lows are going to be challenged. Was that 83? I could see us between 76 and 83. I could see that. Usually they all run back to these lows and highs, that type of thing. And you can see here, this is ascending highs. Higher lows, as they say. So I would say that more than likely you're probably going to see anywhere from 81.5 from 76 maybe. Here's another way too on using Doc's math. Let's see, it went into a buy here at the close of 74.05. And it traded all the way down to 72.71. So what? 74.05 minus 72.71. All right, 74.05 minus 72.71. That's 129 and 134. Now, if it closes in a buy here, wherever this closes in a buy, add at least $1.30, and that's more than likely where it's going to go, because this is what you lost. And Doc's math, 8.5 out of 10 times makes the money back, and then actually makes more usually. So if it closes wherever this closes today and confirms the buy, add at least $1.30 to it and figure that's where it's going to go. That's how we do that stuff. And it's been working that way for 40 some odd years. I've been watching that do that. And it's so very rare. Like I said, it's 8.5 out of 10 times it'll do it. You know, it might only go to $1 or 90 cents plus more or something like that. And then the next day might be, you know, $1, or it might be half $1, or might be minus 30 cents or minus $1, you know. But it has a natural tendency to make the money back. You know, it usually does. It's very rare for it not to. Like I said, only maybe 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, something like that. So that's the answer to that, George. Okay. All right. Let's see. Matter of fact, while we're there, we might as well look at gold. Gold closed in the daily buy yesterday, and it's been over the weekly buy all week long, and you can see it is lifting up too. So since that short here at 1861, 2 years after the Carrington event in 1859, basically you can see it's lifting up. That's where we got hit by a sunspot that was about 30x. We're looking for sunspots that might be in the hundreds at this point, because we're in a 12,000 year cycle, and we are in the last decades of that cycle. So it could be fun times for all. Eyes open, no fear. All right. Matter of fact, why don't we look at silver? Someone, what was it Robin was saying yesterday? Silver, like, if it would get to $30, maybe they would break out. Yeah, I agree with that. It takes a lot of work for it to get going. Closed in a daily buy yesterday. It's moving up, but this is still in a weekly sell. Just like crude oil is in a weekly buy, and you can take it. This is in a weekly sell, and you can't take it. Just not be short, that's all. Same thing with gold. We've been in a weekly sell since here. You can get rid of that little circle now. And so, you know, you can't really take the buy. You just don't want to be short, or you can do it in a binary, be long some type of binary, call for a couple of weeks, you know, that type of thing, or call spread for a couple of weeks. They're both the same thing, a binary and a call spread. I suspect gold and oil are falling due to movement in the dollar down. Yeah, I agree. I guess in expectations of NFP tomorrow. I don't think it's that short term. I think we know that the Federal Reserve likes to basically take these products down. Not oil as much, but gold. As much as they dislike cryptocurrencies, they dislike gold interfering with the fundamentals. You know, gold kind of emphasizes the fundamentals. And that messes with their heads, you know. That really does. What is that? It's a regression. I don't know how that got in there. But, so it's not necessarily tomorrow. Maybe the numbers are going to be big, you're saying, and so they're lifting up the metals for it. Maybe the shorts are just covering since we're in a weekly sell. To me, that would be what it is. Shorts covering. Sorry, yeah, I suspect, yeah, so that I guess I answered that one too. That's good. I did that without even reading it. I just gave you my point of view. I would say it's shorts covering more than anything else. Because you know the Fed doesn't like metals to go up in value. Because if they did, let's put it this way, if they did not care about the metals market, and also what, London bullion market is shutting down altogether. So I mean, they are even finding ways to close markets down in the world. You have a further question? You could. It's cheaper by the dozen. You have 11 more to go. How's that sound? I charge the same price for one as I do for 12. So it's cheaper by a dozen. Matter of fact, I'll give you a baker's dozen, which means it's 13. You can ask all the questions you want. That's what I'm here for. If I don't know the answer, I can basically point you in the right direction to find it. And if I do know the answer, or at least I think I know the answer, then I give you my answer. So it's okay. Ask away. Away, away, away. Let's see, where do we go? So we're back at the currencies. Waiting for the question. Let's check out, after the Turkish lira, we usually jump to Canadian. You can see we're trying to do a little pressure on the downside there. Let's see what it looks like on J4X. Let's move that over too. Actually, I shouldn't do that. I should do that. Move it over like that, and then widen it. There we go. Now let's put Canadian in there. Right there, and make it a daily. Right there. Oh, Borat, did you do the research we talked about yesterday? Let's see, that is dollar yen. Let's see what that's doing. Dollar yen, here we go. Right there. Still lifting, you know, like the way the dollar does. It's lifting up. So there's more yen to a dollar now. And you can see we've been in that weekly buy since back here, and it doesn't seem to want to give up, does it? And let's see what it looks like on J4X. There we are. Lifting up and coming back through the white line again, like we did yesterday for ourselves. So. Let's see. I'm working on it. Hopefully we'll have something in coming days. That's it. You just keep on researching it. Research it, and then research. Remember, it's not an end, it's a norm. Traders need to backtest all the time. And this way you modify things and you build muscle memory at the same time. I have one here. I'll show you one I've been working on my own. I backtest every day. And check this out. Let's see, where's it at? I guess it's right there. Is that right there? Yeah. No, that's not it. Here, I'm going to show you my back test I'm playing with. Right there. And it's this one. There we go. And what I'm looking at here is, it's a 69? I think it's 69. Yeah, I use the Tesla numbers all the time. Yeah, it's 69 contracts. Okay. And what I do is, notice when I get a red and a green dot, and a red and green dot, and then just a green dot, it's usually a buy signal. Now in this case here, it's failing at it. And vice versa. I got a red and green dot twice here, and then no dot, and we got a minus. And then we got a minus, but with an up bar, it's telling me to be short. I've been trying to commingle these and change the inputs to them. And you can see here, it does it there. And then I get the sell, and you get a sell-off. and vice versa. You see it here. I get the green dot and the red dot, and it's in the minus right there. Still a minus, but I'm getting the buy signal. And then the next one, which is right here, you know, it normally goes up, and it failed. So I assume automatically that it's going to make that money back, because this is in the plus right here. Oh, you're not seeing what I'm talking about. All right. Where's it at? Right there. Okay, so you see it right here. It's in a buy right there. See that? And so we get the red and green dot right here from it, and assume that it's going to make it up. You know, and it does. And then vice versa. We're in a minus, and we get the red and green dot, and then we get a green dot, and it fails, and it goes into a red, and it breaks down. So, you know, I've been trying to tighten my signals up a little bit more. This is going into the news, of course, so it's a little bit sloppier. So like right here, we got a green dot and a red dot together on a bar, and then it gave us a green dot, which would have been a long, what I've been back testing. And it still held up, and it's failed. Lost money on it. Now we're getting one, tried it again. And we'll see if it does it. More than likely, it's the 8.5. I've been double checking the numbers. Now in this case here, the sell is on now, because this is down here, and it's not giving me that buy signal that was here at all. It's disappeared, so it's kind of messing the test up that I've been working on. Now we're getting this. Let's see if this will close and the histogram is plus, it'll give us a run that'll make money. Let's see how this goes. And so I'm always back testing, always looking to see, and I changed the inputs of the dots, trying to adjust them out. I've adjusted the count on the bars a little bit. And I'm always working on something to try to tighten it up a little bit more. This morning it was like 11 for 11, and now it seems to be, you know, literally 1 for 1. But then it's news out there right now, so it's kind of sloppy. Okay, so it gave us the close. Now if this will close like this, this should lift up, but we got to wait for this to close right here, this one. Nope, it's minus again. Now it's plus. Now it's minus again. Still minus. And I don't think, let's see, we can shrink this and you can be able to see. Let's see. There you go. Now you can see the ticks, right? 67. Okay, so it closed in a plus, so you can be long here. Now let's see how far it goes up. So it's long from, what is that? It's long from 30.25. It's traded as high as 31.75. And I'm just trying to see if I can get 2 cents out of each one of those, which is, each cent is $20. And it looks like it's going to get it. So it was 30.25, we need 32.25. Got the 31.75. And let's see what the next one does. More than likely, it looks like it's breaking down. And so you put a stop in there and get rid of it at 30.25 again, so you break even. So in this case here, it's trying to break down. And that's how we do that. That's when Robin says use good money management. That's what he's talking about. You got it going into a plus, and now here it's trying to set up again. If this stays plus here and the green dot closes in here, or just this, like yeah, here we go. We got another volatility. So this is going to run. All right, so you buy it there on the 33.25 now. Let's see where it'll make its money back for what we gave up on the last one. It ran to 35. So it made $1. It made 1 3/4 cents. We needed to go to 35.25. And I've been trying to figure out a 1 3/4, 2 1/4 type of trade situation. And that's the way we trade these things. And you put stops in there where you started from. So this way, at worst, is you just pay commission. Let's see. Borat says, hopefully we'll have something in a couple days. Question, I usually see some movements in CC pairs, gold and silver, before major U.S. moves. Interesting. So we have people around here in the webinars that actually follow the pairs trades in gold and silver. I mean, it's all over the place. And I've been watching the platinum. I follow the platinum gold pairs trade myself. Let's see. Does that indicate that people in the know usually start taking positions early in anticipation? No, it's not a conspiracy. Yeah, that's what it is. They pairs trade. It's the old-fashioned hedge fund stuff. That makes sense. Total sense. And then, let's see. Oh, hey, Middle Age. Let's throw your stocks up there. See what they're doing. They haven't been really ticking that much in the pre-markets. It's been kind of interesting. You can see that's the last thing I looked at. Oh, there you go. The pre-market today is lifting up. So it's, at least it's back to where yesterday's close was. So looking firm in that JO, which is interesting, the coffee. Now let's see the tags. Tags should be really happy. Did you see, I think did it switch or did something? It missed the sell. I thought I had a red line in here somewhere, and then the tags lifted it up, and we're fighting to go into that weekly as we speak, I think. Let me just move that over more. Yeah, let's widen this for you. Yeah, see, it's through the plus side by the hair of its chinny chin. See, plot 1 is 0.140. So, it's trying. I've really been impressed, Middle Age. You've given me a very interesting product to watch. I like watching it, the tags. It's for those out there, what it is it's corn, soybeans, and wheat, and sugar. Those 4 contracts. It's an ETF. It's very fascinating. Let's see. Middle Age says, Doc, could you check the weekly chart quant for new beans and deck corn? Sure. Let's see, where's that at? That would be, let's do this. Let's see, I guess we go like that. I want to, see, let's go with, let's see where we go from there. Okay, yeah, so we got doubles going on there. So let's do this. Close this and open this. There we go. Messes with my lines when I open up 2 different ones sometimes. 2 charts, 2 pages. I'm sorry, 2 pages on the same charts. It messes with my lines. I had one threw a red line in on soybeans. I changed it to green dash lines, right? And then the next thing I know is I go and refresh it and it throws the red line in there again, the red dotted line. It's like, wait a minute, it's in a buy. Why did it do that? Let's see, which ones were they? Deck corn. There's deck corn. And where's deck corn at? I think the chart I threw up earlier had, let's see, where is it at? Let me throw up the chart that I sent out this morning. Because it was up higher, I saw that. There it is. Yeah, so there it is right there. So it's still moving up. I'm not sure why the chart is now, maybe because I had double charts opened or something like that. Now the deck corn is looking very firm. You know, they're holding on to that really well. Let's see, let me go back to the live of that. Where's that at? It's around here somewhere. Get rid of that. There it is right there again. Okay, there. Now, let's see if we can update that. Let's give it a Control R. Why is that not updating on this chart now? Probably because I have the other ones open. Let's try that. See if it does it that way. There you go. There it is live. So it's at 608 at the moment. You can see it's, no, it's 607. 607 bid, 607 offered. And that was about 16, 17 minutes ago. Maybe, no, 23 minutes ago. So they're just sizing it up. I guess they're not trading it as much as they're sizing it up. That's how they size it up in a trading pit. So usually you have like a 607 bid and a 607 offer. It means that they're willing to buy it and sell it at that price, but they're not trading it live. Before something trades live, what they do is they refer to it as sizing up. They try to figure out what the bid and offer is. That's a term that they use on the trading floor. So when I explain that process, would you believe that Robin was the person that sized the very first trade in the S&P 500 futures contract. The chairman of the exchange was down in the pit, and the president of the exchange was down there, and they go, Robin, what do you think we should quote? What should we size this at? And he goes, I don't know. And he looks up at the board. He looks at the index itself, ticking on the where it closed the day before, and he goes, I don't know. How about this? And so Robin made the very first trade. He sized up the trade for the S&P 500 when the very first trade ever in history. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, see, middle age says beans. No beans. Let's see what no beans look like. No beans. Right there. And what's the market in that? They're doing the same thing. They're sizing it. So it's 14.21 and a quarter bid and an offer. So they're sizing that up too at the same time right now. And when's that? That's 7:44. So that's 8:44. Which is 16, that's 23 minutes ago, they threw a sizing of the market up. I know, isn't that something? Yeah, Robin was trading a lot of interesting stuff because the Merc was really starting to grow, and he was a member of it in the 70s. So, before the stock indices. We didn't get really, the stock indices didn't get going until like 83 or something like that, 82, 83, So, I mean, I think I did that type of stuff with currencies in the States, the cash currencies on the options. I sized up trades like that, made the biggest trades in history for for like a year or so. I was making that, and then I became a local and shifted into other areas. But yeah, when you're one of the first people and you actually understand the product, you get that. But see that there, the time? That's showing you that they're sizing it at 7:44, which is 8:44 Eastern Standard. And wasn't that a bigger number? Wasn't that 120? Yeah, it was a quarter bid, remember? So it was 14.20 and a quarter. Now they're sizing it at 14.20.50. So they're sizing that up a little bit. And they'll change the bid and offer. And then when they start to trade it live, they're putting the amount of size it is. There's Robin. You back? I thought you were out partying. Who was perplexed? Malamed or Sanders? Or both? They want to take something away from people, right? So they wanted to open it as a discount. Who said open it up as a discount? Was it Sanders or Malamed? I'd say Malamed. Sanders was kind of quiet, right? But then, Malamed, he was always like methodical, Both, yeah. Malamed was always methodical. I used to have lunch with him a lot. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. At that point, Malamed was the chairman of the exchange. Both. Yeah, that makes sense. Sanders was let's say Sanders was always looking for the bargain. How's that sound? Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, let's see. We're drifting into yakadoo yak land. Where did we leave off, traders? Was it yen, I think we left off? Let's go to the yen again. But if anybody has a question out there, we can easily fill it in. Did I answer everything? Let's see. Oh yeah, let's go back to the yen now. But we can stop and talk about whatever you want to talk about. We have no problem there, which forces other people to jump in. I mean, we want questions and so forth. So there's the yen. Okay, I think we answered that. What do we do now? We go to the ruble. Actually, with gold lifting up, before we go to the ruble, let's go to the South African rand. I want to see if it's moving down the last couple days. Where are you? There it is. Now look at that. It's curved. You can see the curve there, but and we're going sideways down, I guess you could say, but we're really not. I mean, look, we were in a sell here, and we put the pressure on it. That should have instigated the gold to go up. Is that how it works? Yeah, that's how it normally works. But then, let's go back to gold for a second. Gold, 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 gold. There's gold. And that makes sense, right? You know, it's going down. But then it's a lag going on with the rand today, or the last couple of days, like the last 5 days. Let's go back to the rand again. So that's telling us that there's strength in it. Let's widen that out too for you. So that's telling us, you know, this has got a downwardly projection. So it's telling us that gold wants to go up. Then this starts to go up. It's telling you that gold wants to go down. And then we get green dots at the same time. And we're in a buy, which is again telling us that gold wants to go down. But the price action is minus. Not by much, you know, very little, you know. And we're in a weekly buy. So I'd say, who was it that asked and thought it was a conspiracy? It's not a conspiracy about the pairs trades. Who was that? That was Borat, right? Yeah, it's not a conspiracy. People trade the pairs. And, you know, they try to anticipate the news. And they may have insider information to the news, too. And so, no, that's not a conspiracy. Back in 2007, it was a conspiracy. Now, with the Federal Reserve and all that's going on, no, not a conspiracy. So don't think it is. Trust me, you're right. You're thinking in the right direction. All right, now let's go to the ruble. There's the ruble. Make sure I'm not missing any questions, too. Let's see, there's the ruble. They raised rates because I said this yesterday or the day before. They're you can see it here. They are concerned about the inflation. So they raised rates. You know, and you can see here it's been in a weekly sell for, what is that? All the way back here in the, what is that, the 76 area, 77 area, what is that? 75 area, right? What's that, 75, 85? It's been went into the weekly sell that week, popped up a little bit, and then broke. It was, I guess, let's move this over a little bit for you. Yeah, so, you know, it went into the weekly sell, and this week here, we were in a weekly sell almost all week long, too. And we've fallen all the way down to the 71-ish, basically the 72 area. I mean, the low is 71 double nickel. So, but I was impressed with the Russian Federation saying, you know, it's not transitory. All right, let's see, where do we go from here? So we've done like Mexican peso. Let's check out the Mexican peso. That was that other one we've been watching. They're showing some really interesting signs here with the Mexican peso. Let's see, we went to that's that goofiness. I know we put a red dotted line in there when we looked at it before a couple days ago. If I have both charts open on 2 pages, it freaks it out. They don't know which one's the priority. So went into the weekly buy. Here, matter of fact, that weekly buy disappeared altogether. Went into it. Was it there? Just missed it by 0.01. Just missed the weekly buy there, but went into the daily buy. So you couldn't be short out of this whole move up. But you couldn't be long unless you were doing it through like a derivative, like an options derivative or binary derivative. And then you got your sell here, and and then we're in a weekly buy, so you can't do that. So this whole move, you got you in a neutral position. And then now what are we doing? We're flirting with the weekly buy again, right? It's at 0.01 with a day to go. What do we got here? Borat says, another question. Do you have any environmental credit-based trading products? There is in the United States. I don't pay attention to them, but I'm sure. I kind of think of that as thievery, you know, because we don't really have any power over the environment. But if you're functioning through fundamentals in the sense of what people think, you can invest in those things. But I don't really pay attention to them. I kind of find it to be illegitimate. I'm a scientist, so I really have a hard time pretending fake science. There are no scientists that will put their names The ones that have been prosecuted, and they've been shown to have been lying about their math. There is no math out there that shows that we have any effect on the environment at all. And the ones that have, if you notice, the ones at Penn State and the ones at Anglia, they have been removed from academia to a certain extent because they falsified their math to make it look like it was true. So there is no environmental science that justifies all this global stuff that they talk about. But if you're investing in it on a fundamental level of PEs and growth, and the way the media talks about it, then that makes total sense. It's kind of like QE, I mean, do you really take QE serious? You have to take it serious, but is it fundamentally correct? We all know it's not. But we know you can't fight the Fed. Well, you can't fight the media and the socialists projecting crazy ideas. So you see what I'm saying there? There is no science for fundamentals, Yeah, I know the carbon credit thing. That's just stealing money. That's all it is. It's political corruption. That's all it is. There's no science to it. But if you follow it on a fundamental basis of politics and promotion in the media, then that's the only fundamentals you can really follow, because there's no math. Even the famous Freeman Dyson, when asked about it, said, I don't know. That's what he said. I don't know. Freeman's was pretty literate, and so anybody who wants to tell you that it's been proven is false. Anyone who wants to tell you that there's science that backs it up is false. There is none. And the ones who have, like at East Anglia and at Penn State University, and at East Anglia University, the hockey stick and all that has been proven to be totally falsified, and they've lost a lot of their position, and they've been sued because they falsified documentation. So, I get what you were saying. I meant only from the trading perspective. I'm kind of shallow that way. When I see something that's illegal and false, I kind of steer clear of it. I think Middle Age says it best. That we got how's Middle Age says Doc and Robin are the real deal. In other words, we really just follow real markets, and the fake stuff we just let go by. We'll tell you we don't believe in it, but we're not going to really try to justify it. If I justified fake science, then that would make me fake. You know what I mean? So I can't, I wouldn't want to come out and say, okay, go buy this solar collector company or buy this electric automobile because, because everybody else is buying it because they think it has something to do with saving the Earth. I can tell you this, all the planets in our solar system are having major problems. I have posted some of the stuff that's documented from it. Pluto has lost 30% of its atmosphere in just the last 2 years. Same thing with Uranus and Neptune. It's getting closer to Saturn now. Stuff is happening on all these planets, and it's affecting us. We've lost 30% of our electromagnetic field. Mars is having earthquakes out of nowhere. And they were doing some type of look down, and then they realized that the electromagnetic, what's left of the electromagnetic field on Mars was burning up the ions. So they were discovering the ions, and they looked down at them from the satellite, and they couldn't find them, and then they thought maybe it was just mistaken. Then they realized that the electromagnetic field was was shrinking, and it was burning up the ions to begin with. So so that's the only reason we don't follow that stuff. Yeah, I talked to Freeman a few times. Freeman, pretty sharp guy. I went to went over to the Institute when I was living in Princeton, and I would use the Institute as a public, and Freeman was really cool. I wanted to talk to him about my math right before he died, but he died. I was going to share my formula with him. I wanted to get his opinion, but I wanted him to be like, dying, because I didn't want anybody to know my math. So, unfortunately, Freeman fell and died like a day later. Now, I was hoping that he'd be like in a deathbed and I would, go see him and tell him about my math. But what do I have? I was at Freeman's birthday, his 90th birthday and his 95th birthday. I have a party bag from it. Yeah. Freeman was really a great guy. I'm sad that he's gone. But he was brilliant. Just brilliant. Doc, what do you think of Freeman? Amazing scientist. He really was. He was, if you want to appreciate what Freeman was, the best way to do that is watch that movie, Hidden Figures, and where the three African or the black women that worked at NASA and the CIA were doing the math, what they used to refer to them as computers, and they had people that would do math, and they called them computers before there were accessible computers, and they would be dedicated to doing math. So Freeman got his master's degree in mathematics and stuff like that, and he hung out with Feynman and all like that, the bongo playing physicist, and he hung out with everybody. To be honest, he didn't do Einstein's math because Einstein was goofing off. He was just partying for 20 years when he came there. He barely, Freeman was so thorough at that he became friends with Einstein's secretary and had her babysit his kids. And so he learned everything about Einstein because Einstein wasn't talking to anybody. Einstein had his 6 girlfriends, and he had his first and second cousin he was living with. And so Einstein was doing a lot of other stuff than physics. And so, he would show up at the Institute and not talk to anybody. And Freeman documented all that, and he talked about that. Matter of fact, that was one of his regrets, that he could not get Einstein to talk and communicate with people. And everybody was fearing him. Everybody feared Einstein. So they let him get away with that. They didn't know what to do. But Freeman was the computer for all the great mathematicians. Freeman was the computer for all the great scientists. And so when you watch that movie, Hidden Figures, you can see their abilities. You can see that one woman, Catherine, who was just she was like the person that moved our science, our space program, and you could see the work that they did. And so Freeman never got his PhD. He just was doing the math for everybody and hanging out. He was a really brilliant guy, really nice. I enjoyed talking with him. He was sharp, and like I said, I wanted to share my math with him, and I was hoping that I could catch him because he was in his 90s. I was hoping to catch him the last couple days of his life, that type of thing, because I lived not far away from him. I was 5 or 6 blocks away or something like that. And Freeman, I saw Freeman walking to the Institute whenever I was over that way every morning. So it was nothing to stop and talk to him. And I go to the Institute and do stuff through the series, and Freeman was there and so forth. And I wanted to talk to him. I was dying to tell him about my math, but I didn't want to tell him when he was alive. I mean, so that he could use it. I just wanted to talk to him about it. So anyway, I'm done. Sorry about that. I went on a tangent there. Let's see, where did we leave off there? Absolutely agree. Thanks for your clarification. Okay. Alan, what did they do? They cut you off on something. Doc, what do you think about the RSI indicator and what the best parameters are? Oh, wait a minute. I used the RSIs like the stochastics. They're both cousins of each other. So let's just take a quick look at that before we end the webinar here. Let's see. What are we having a problem here with? Am I using the right mouth? Yeah, there it is. Okay. So let's see. Insert. Let's see. What do we want to do? We want to put in. let's go take a look at the RSI, and we'll put it underneath. Let's do this. Let's blow this thing all the way up, okay? And underneath you see is the MACD. Let's insert an RSI. Let's see. I know I can do this. Where is it? Which button is it? Right there. Add an indicator. But the RSI is a cousin to the RSI is a cousin to the stochastic. I think it just adds a moving average to it or something like that. Where is it? Anybody know where it's at on this? The RSI? A math operator? No. Where's the RSI on J4X? But they're cousins to each other, so you can, they're basically the same thing. I think the RSI is 2/3 of a stochastic, and then they throw a moving average into it. I think that's how that works. In the old days, I used to have to do this by math, on paper with a pencil and paper. I used to do the math half in my head and half on paper. Then then laptops and computers and all became popular, accessible. I mean, we had computers, but before I got onto the exchange floor, it was in the 70s. It was hard, Statistical function. Yeah, so it's just like the yeah. Let's see. I want to find it, and then we can take a look at it. Does anybody know where exactly it is on the J4X? Normally, I find these things relatively easy. Price action. Cycle indicator, maybe. It's got to be on here somewhere. Well, here, let's cancel that. We'll look around. Maybe someone can find it for me. Let's see. Robinson. Let's just let's throw an RSI on my math. Insert study. RSI. Where's the RSI? Why isn't the RSI jumping out at me? Where is the RSI? Relative strength indicator. Isn't it? It's a division. Oh, wait a minute. The relative strength indicator. There it is, right there. Okay. And is that the one? Here it is. The length overbought, oversold. Isn't that like you're dividing up volume against down volume, and then maybe that's a different one I'm thinking of. Let's just throw it up there and see what happens. There it is right there. And let's make it, let's do this. Let's change the background and maybe it'll be clearer. Okay, yeah, look at that. The RSI, let's see, how do we do this? Let me see if we can change the parameters of this. Style. There we are. Let's make that black. There we go. Now you can see it follows my math pretty well. Let's see. Now, look at the way it nip and tucks. I think I've done this before. That's why I put the two stochastics up there. Because when you're looking at a stochastic, we want to put the RSI in with the stochastic. That might help out even more. You can see here, it's reaching the top here. Our math is reaching the top here. In this case here, it doesn't. Our math rolls over here. See, that's the difference. Is I move in a three-dimensional. Actually, I move in a four-dimensional fractional four-dimensional manner, and so my math kind of changes the four-dimensional view because I'm measuring on a different surface of the normal three-dimensional plane. Boy, could I say that twice? But anyway, my math is using a different surface than your normal XYZ, because I've discovered a ether, so which resolves understanding time, because time is not finite, it's infinite. Now that's a good thing to Google. I should try that. I never thought about that. See, that's why I like answering questions. Is time finite or not? Let's see what that says. Time finite or infinite? Let's see what it says. Temporal, oh, this could be interesting. Here it is. Temporal finiteness is the doctrine that time is finite. In the past, the philosophy of Aristotle, expressed in such works as his physics, held the although space was finite, with only void existing beyond outermost spheres in the heavens, time was infinite. Okay, and so what I've done is I've been able to turn time. I measure things through an infinite process, which I call through fractionals. So that's why none of this stuff, that's why this math, which is really cool when you think about it, it topped out here, but it didn't top out at the green. And it matches up with my work breaking down. Then you can see my work turns up here already. Let's do this. Let's shrink that down. And then shrink this and do this. See, that's why my math is ahead of everything, because I'm measuring on the correct surface, not on a finite surface that's static. So this math is, and the math here is functioning on a it functions in a finite way. So it's not measuring real physical world. It's delayed. That's why my math is ahead of the curve. Now in this case here, it did bounce together. But the parameter of, let's see if we can do this. Let's move this up and move this up like that. As you can see, it misses. You have to tighten up the range, but then if you tighten up the range, it can screw it up. You like make it 60-40. And I'll bet there's a mathematical, I could probably figure out a range in my math. Well, I have figured out a range in my math, but and that's what the nonlinear time manifolds are all about too. So imagine this green line is really the nonlinear time manifold. Okay, that's the plus side versus the minus side. Not only that, it's not that time goes backwards; it's just that time moves forward faster and then sometimes slows down, and that's what my time manifolds are all about. And so my math is measuring time moving in an infinite way, so it's not limited to a fixed structure. Wow, that was fun. I like that. I'm going to have to watch this video too. All right, anyway, I guess we've gone past by 5, 6, 7 minutes. All right, this is Doc from North America. We will catch you tomorrow. Tomorrow is TGIF. Hooray for our 3-day weekend. We're going to pretend that we are Latvians. We are going to party. We're going to eat meat. We're going to drink. Oh, yeah. All right. This is Doc saying arrivederci. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trails. Oh, you didn't even see what I was looking at. Oh, shoot. Let me just show you what I was looking at. Where is it at? You're not seeing what I was... This is what I was looking at. I found it. And I didn't even show it to you. Let's make this thing the whole page. There we are. Can you see that? I didn't disconnect, did I? No, I didn't disconnect. There you go. So there it is. You can see, you can use the video on this and see right here the difference between RSI and how it tries to emulate. Like you can see my math moving ahead of the RSI. And then think of these green lines. Let's do this. Can we do this? Yeah, go like this. Matter of fact, we can do it this way. Make that white, make it emulate it. Make those gold, like so. I was getting through my song and didn't realize I didn't show you. That's not fair. So, see, that's what's going on there, basically. So, the time manifold is basically the range. Only difference is that since my time, and I didn't even show you where did I put that? And then where's that thing I just did too? I want to show that. I want to historic this. This is a pretty good video. Where the hell is it? History. There it is, right there. Okay, and so then we went and looked at that. Let me just put that up. Yeah, that's it right there. Put that up there again, like that. So that's what we were talking about. Temporal finitism. So showing results for time and finite. Temporal oh, I think I clicked on that. That's what it was. And it just gave me that article about Aristotle or something like that. Temporal finitism is a doctrine that time is finite in the past. The philosophy of Aristotle expressed in such works as the physics held, although space was finite with only a void existing beyond the outermost. So what I've done is I've discovered how to measure the outer void. That's what I did. I did this. I created this to fight the Higgs boson in '77. Time was infinite. This caused problems of medieval Islamic and Jewish and Christian philosophers who were unable to reconcile the Aristotle concept of the eternal with Genesis creation narrative. What? They're saying religion's cut out. Oh, I guess that's why Galileo was locked up in prison. Modern cosmologists accept finitism in the form of Big Bang. Exactly. Big Bang is wrong. It's wrong. And my math I created to resolve the Higgs boson back in '77 when I was a student in England. And then I found out that it worked really well with money. So I didn't share it with physics. Anyway, that's where it goes. All right, this is Doc from North America. Now I'm singing my way out of here, and you can see, you all can, let's see if we can contract this to give you even a better picture. All right, this is the daily on, what product is this? This is Mexican peso against the dollar. So you can see how it reacts to my math versus RSI. All right, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Ta-ta.